Hey folks, welcome back. Just out here at the sawmill enjoying the sunshine and the relatively warm temperatures for this time of year. We're getting up to like the double digits here today, and I'm talking like 10 or 12 degrees Celsius, and it's been months since we've been there, so I'm pretty excited. I'm out here just having a look at some of these logs I left over from last time. These logs, some of them are undersized for the project I wanted to use them for, and so I'm probably going to cut some of these up into maybe into 2x4s or 4x4s or some dimensional lumber that I'll use for other projects. Some of the other ones, I think we might be able to squeak out the 5.5 inch size we need. What we're going to end up doing is cutting the top and the bottom flat on the ones that are big enough. And what that'll allow me to do is have a flat surface on the top and the bottom, which I can then debark the other sides using my log peeling disc. That's a mouthful. Anyways, I'll debark those another day. Today, though, I think we'll cut what we can and take in sort of the fresh air, the vitamin D, and probably a good amount of sludge. Right behind me, you can see my log loader trailers in position. I'm going to basically swing over here, pick these up, take them over to the sawmill, and away we go. So we'll fire that up in just a moment. And since one of the last times I was out here talking to you guys about my sawmill, I had added this to my log stops. You guys might have seen that video. I added this little weld here. I also put some holes here at the 2-inch mark and the 4-inch mark. What that allows me to do is I can basically put a pin in there, and I just happen to have a nail in there right now, but a pin would be better. I can put that pin there, and then when I drop that down, it stays right at 2 inches. I don't have to do any type of measuring or anything of that nature, so I thought that was pretty slick. However, when I was putting those welds in place, one thing that I forgot about when I was welding, and I didn't realize until I posted the video, was that every once in a while you're going to put a cant up against this, and the cant you want to have up against a flat surface. Well, that's sticking out. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm probably going to just do this. Turn the log stop to its side if I need to. Alternatively, I can turn it all the way around. That is, of course, only when I need a flat surface for sawing cant into some lumber. So that's something that I thought about, wanted to point out to all of you. If I'm going to do that again, what I might do is maybe I'd put like a little piece of metal across, sort of in this location, sticking out a little. You'll have a little handle, but I would put it behind that front flat face. I'd put it somewhere out here. And many of you had suggested that to me in the comments of that video, so I thank you for that. So that'll be a project for another day. Today I'm itching to get some sawing done, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I just got this thing all ready to go, backed her up. I normally pin it in place on the trailer. I've seen some stories where people come out to their sawmill after a day of rest, and the wind has blown the sawmill off the track. Probably for the first 4 years of sawing or so, I never pinned this thing down whatsoever. I guess I got lucky, it never blew off the track, but now I pin it. One other thing I'm going to mention to you guys about my sawmill here, some of you guys often ask me how often am I re-leveling the sawmill itself. The truth is, I barely ever check. I'm going to get out here, I'm going to fire it up, I'll brush off some of the dust, I'll load a log on it, and assuming the blade is sharp, I'm going to cut. I don't get too fancy with this. The only time I'm going to check if it's level is if I start noticing the saw head drifting downhill on me or drifting downhill that way. That's an indication to me that this is not level. So if you're sawing on like the soil, then you're going to be checking level a bit more often, because it is going to move on you, the ground that is, especially in this climate where we get freezing and thawing this time of year. So you will be checking it a bit more. But when you're up on a platform like this, now that it's flat, I basically leave it. And notice how I said flat. I didn't say level. Level is great. That's going to prevent the saw head from drifting forward or backwards on you. But I'm more concerned with flatness than I am level. If it's a little out of level, yeah, okay. But if it's out of flat, we're stopping. We're getting that fixed. Flat is referring to this and this and that and that and that, the top of the log bunks all being in the same plane. That is absolutely critical. I don't want to have one of these higher or lower than another one. What that's going to do is that's going to change the distance between the blade and the log stop on every log stop, and we don't want that. You're not going to get consistent lumber. So that is the only thing that I am absolutely set on. That's making sure it's flat. If it's a little out of level, left and right, this way, that way, whatever. Fill her up with gas, let her cut. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to it. Sludge is going down easy today. That's probably a good sign. Either that or it means I'm gonna move in warp speed today. Let's get down to work. Welcome back. Cold start. Let's not bash my elbow. As I go here, if I forget to look up at the roof, you guys yell through your screen, would you? This thing lifts real high and it's easy to forget what I'm doing, looking at a log and bang off the roof. Just trying to get the log so it's touching on every log bunk here. I get a lot of questions about the laser. I'm just going to turn it on here and you guys can see what we're dealing with. There's one there and one over there. And we'll just we'll lower the saw head down and you can see what I see. So I use that to judge where my first cut's going to go, especially with these small logs when you don't have a lot of extra. If you make a wrong cut, I like the laser because I know exactly where the cut's going, and that way it's there's no waste at all. So I think we're good there. Just as I'm about to fire this up, if you guys are looking to build a saw shed like I've got here, and you have a sawmill similar to me, this is a Woodlander trailer with one extension. The total length here of the saw shed is 20 feet, but that doesn't give me any length to walk around the edge of the sawmill trailer here, very easily at least. So if you can make it any longer, I would definitely encourage you to. 20 feet will cover your sawmill, but it's not going to give you much room else, that's for sure. You can see here, as I try to sneak around here, I can do it, but not very easily. You know what that sound is? That's the sound of a dead battery. That's okay. The good news is with these things, they generally fire up. This is a 14 horse Kohler, so let's see if that holds true. I'm near certain this is going to fire up with just a pull. Just got to watch you don't bang your elbow. I'm not surprised. I ran this same engine on my previous HM130 model. And that thing performed flawlessly. That's before I had electric start. I was out here pulling, but I didn't have to pull too much, fortunately. Anyways, I'm going to have to get that battery charged up here. In the meantime, it should give me enough juice to run the power head up and down and the lasers. So no problems. figure it out yet. Tell you guys, that sunshine finally breaking through the trees here. We're into spring. I'm finally feeling a little bit of heat from the sun after that long cold winter. That's a beautiful thing right there. I've had a wonderful time out here this afternoon. Glad all you guys joined me. If you look around, there's beautiful trees around me, all kinds of wildlife and nature and fresh air and sawdust and lumber and project logs and equipment. It's a beautiful thing out here, that's for sure. Now, just a minute ago, you saw me cut some dimensional lumber. I ended up taking 3 logs, putting them side by side by side. I've never done that before. I wanted to give it a try. The sawmill there's got plenty of width to do that. One thing, though, I noticed is I probably could have used some lubrication there. There was a little bit more resistance, but the blade was still cutting fine. With a razor sharp blade, I think it would have cut even better. Mix in a little bit of lubrication, it would have been perfect. But I don't have any lube in the tank right now. I didn't use any all winter because the logs were frozen. So I think before I try that again, I'll top up the tank there and put on a fresh sharp blade. That one's probably about due to hit the sharpener. On the left, I got a few more project logs stacked up. I'm going to take those back to the shop. We'll end up debarking them before long. And that'll probably be next on the list. Now, that's a never-ending list, but I'm not complaining. I really love it out here. It's definitely a beautiful place to be, and glad all you guys joined me. In the meantime, if you have the opportunity to get out in maybe your own forest somewhere and make some sawdust, start up a chainsaw, even take a walk, drive some equipment, make sawdust, who knows, whatever you do, try to get outside and enjoy it. You guys all take care out there. Be well. We'll see you next time.